So it's 2:15, and they told me this year I could just start at 2:15, so I'm going to start on time at 2:15. Can you all hear me okay, right? I try to speak loud. I don't think I'll stand back here behind. I don't even know if this is on, so I'm not going to stand there. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming to this session. I know there are a ton of sessions out there and so many amazing things, and people are sharing so many great innovative ideas. So I really appreciate you coming to this session to hear my story and my school's transformational journey. So I just want to start off with this quote. The journey toward empowering students can feel confusing and even scary, but if you're waiting for permission, it might never happen. Sometimes you just have to take the leap, and I can tell you that my school truly exemplified this quote, and that's what we've done. We've just taken a leap, fallen on our face a few times, gotten up a few times, but it's been quite a journey. So this is Student Tech Teams, Empowering Students. My name is Dawn Martese, and I'm the instructional coach in Bristol Township School District. Our school district is located right outside of Philadelphia, across the river from Trenton. So we're a little far away this year on the side of the state, which has been great. I have a Twitter, D Martese. Mark Tiger Techs, my student tech teams have a Twitter as well, if you want to check them out. And this is the tiny URL for the presentation. I loaded the presentation into the session planner too, so you have access to the slide deck and the links, and you can just make a copy of anything that you come across. So a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm the instructional coach at Bristol Township School District. I definitely did not start out as the instructional coach. I always like to tell everybody, by definition, I'm really just a special ed reading teacher. Yes?
Over the tiny URL, or is it just too wide?
It should just be too wide.
I just want to make sure I think there's a little bit more.
Is there? No, there it is on the next slide too.
Oh, thank you.
So,
can you read that actually?
Sure. Yeah. It's no. It's tinyurl.com/ty5n0. No. N004, sorry, to squint myself. Everyone okay? Awesome. No, thank you. Didn't see that when I put my little, I'm very important. The Bitmoji is important, so I'm like, hey, the picture comes first. So today I'm just gonna share with you our story, my journey, and hopefully you'll have some takeaways and some tips about how to create student tech teams, what impact they can have in your school as well. So we're going to share with just talk to you about the creation of Tiger Techs, which is our student tech team, systems and sustainability, which as we all know in schools is great to start something, but how do you keep it in place and up and running? And the impact this has had on school culture. And hopefully we'll have some time to do some questions and answers if you have any questions on how you can do this at your school, and just any structural questions you have about implementation. So, let's start the beginning of this. Seriously? This worked the whole hour I've been here before. Didn't want to work now. Okay. I've literally been here an hour before this, and I don't know what's going on now. What's doing me? Okay. Thank you. So our journey started with closing the digital divide and going one-to-one. We received a grant from Verizon and Digital Promise, and it wasn't just a grant for devices, it was a grant for low-income schools to create, to have connectivity at school and at home. So this came with a data plan as well. So our kids not only were going to receive a device, but they were going to receive connectivity at home. So this device would go home with them, and they would have internet access at home. Again, the idea behind this is closing that digital divide, providing equitable access to all students. When this happened, it was just kind of crazy, and I think about it, it's about this is 6 years I've been in this position, and we in our school, we were map makers. This was a new thing. In our school at the time, I joke and always say we were a chisel and slate school. So we had, we didn't have any Wi-Fi. We had no infrastructure whatsoever. We had a really slow email system out of like a random IU unit and far away from our school. We had an archaic communication system of post-it notes and a lot of paper mail in your mailbox. And we were, you know, we were not, I wouldn't say we were anywhere near going one-to-one. And, you know, unlike schools now when you're like, oh, we have a one-to-one, it's in our comprehensive plan, and we have this big plan laid out. That's not quite how ours happened. We found out about the very end of the summer that we were going to go one-to-one, and it was about June, maybe like a week or two before the end of school. So administrators were like, woohoo, we're going one-to-one, devices for everyone. And teachers were like, what are we doing? I'm not really sure about that. And so we really were kind of in a pickle here. So I actually was on maternity leave. I was at home with my daughter, was just born, and my principal asked me to come in. As I said, I'm a special ed reading specialist teacher. That's my trade. It's my forte. And I was always the instructional coach. But to be honest, it just meant that I was called the instructional coach, and I went to pick meetings at the IU. I didn't really have any role as a coach in my building. And this grant, the beauty of this grant and the genius behind it was it really did want an instructional coach behind the devices. It wasn't a device program. It was about student learning and about leveraging technology for pedagogy. So suddenly my new role became the instructional coach who was suddenly on full release, who was going to implement and sustain our one-to-one program. So naturally I need a little help in the beginning. True transparency, like I said, I was a special ed teacher. I was a special ed reading teacher, behavioral person. And so suddenly in June, we just knew we were going to one-to-one. And I knew that I'm just one person, and we needed some help. We needed some ideas. How do you sustain logistics? How do you get yourself up and running, unpacking things? How was I gonna, what was the manpower behind this? We were not a Google school either. We didn't have Google accounts, we weren't G Suite, nothing. We just got a Wi-Fi infrastructure in our building, so we didn't have any idea about mobile management or filtering. So it really became something of a need and looking for help, and there you go. And that's how we created our student tech team. I basically had lunch duty, hall duty, behavior duty, whatever duty you want to call them. Those were mine. And I just started talking to kids and said, hey, welcome, so exciting this school year. We're going to go one-to-one, we're going to have devices. You like technology? Who wants to help me out? You want to unbox some boxes? You want to see my office? You know, and it really, it's as simplistic as it sounds, but that was really what I did. I just talked and had discussions with kids who was interested in helping out. And it was amazing to me to see how quickly kids jumped on and wanted to be helpful in their school. Kids wanted to be part of their school. They wanted this to be something that they were involved in and they were doing. So that's the genesis of how we started. And now this team, I mean, we don't quite do it the same way. It's not the same need, but we've kept this team in place for, I said this is my 6th year, 5 years running or so, 6 years. And this in-house IT team is the cornerstone to all STEM and all technology in our building. We have become quite a STEM-rich school environment. We've really embraced the STEM mindset because of this team and these kids and where it all started. So, and I know this, I've already tried, YouTube didn't like me today. So my channel didn't cooperate. So I am having a quick time. And I just want to show you a little clip just to emphasize. Vanessa's going to tell you about this creation of our tech team.
I can help with this thing.
We've got those that can help.
Follow us.
Never fear, Siren is here.
In around October, we all came together and we volunteered for this. And we helped out with the tablets, took our time out of our lunch, our day, our we did extra work so we can just stay ahead in our classes to help out. And we set up the tablets, we put cases on them, got them all together, and we tested them out to see what apps work, what apps are good for the students. It was really cool to do.
So this is Vanessa introducing a little bit about what we did. And from here, we end up going through all our technical difficulties and all our bumps and grinds, and I'll just show you the end result of what the students, as we created this, I'm sorry, I had to do this to you. As I said, the YouTube channel didn't like me. So once we get these kids together, they start testing out all the apps. They become our Google experts. They start supporting, figuring out our MDM, our filtering system, start working with our IT department, and I could tell you all about that, but I'd rather have them tell you.
Welcome to the tablet rollout night. We are glad you can make it.
Tonight you're mine completely. You gave me your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of life. But will you love me tomorrow?
Before we get started, we'd like to thank Digital Promise.
And Verizon on behalf of the Tiger Techs and the Armstrong community.
We have been working on the tablets for several months now.
We worked with many different types of people to get the tablets ready for this time.
We don't need to give you guys an introduction to everything. Our Tiger Techs, Philip and Brandon, in the auditorium will tell you everything you need to know.
Hello, thank you for coming tonight. My name is Brandon Wolf. We have been Tiger Techs for the 5 months we've been working to ready the tablets for this night. During those 5 months, we've done a lot as a team. We've received our tablets and have mastered the basic setup steps. Everyone on our team has learned how to set up the Wi-Fi, Google accounts, and have even learned how to download and install a filtering app that was created for our school, which is the first of its kind.
We're going to go into settings.
We've been going into classrooms that have received their tablets, so we were prepared and were able to troubleshoot nearly every problem reported to us. After we identified an unexpected problem that we were unable to solve, we reported to the Bristol Township IT department. We're going to show you a video presentation about all of what I have been talking and more. Thank you for coming tonight. I hope you enjoy the presentation and have a great rest of the night.
She's a Tiger Tech. I think it's going to be easier for kids to focus, you know. I think I'm actually looking forward to do homework for once.
I'm excited to just have it. I've never really done this ever, and this is crazy. This is like the best technology device I've ever had. So it's really cool. And that this school has been picked out of so many other schools. It's just awesome.
I feel like it's just less. I don't know, because we're all here together at the same time. Okay, thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I'm like, what's going on? All of a sudden, it's like not in there.
I think we're all supposed to share.
Coming back.
kick her off. She was.
I was, right?
Yeah, I must have kicked you off.
Try the DLCC one, Jess.
Do that one. I think I'm my background presenter.
It might let you on, put me on that.
Quickly back up. I'm sorry. Thanks for being patient. Pardon?
They had the same problem next door.
Did they?
Yeah, they were getting bumped off left and right.
You're also kind because there's nothing worse than stand up here and be like in cold speed starting
Oh, it happens in our classrooms all the time.
Right.
We totally get it.
And I was
We
just
totally
gonna
get
say,
it.
I was just gonna say
But
we
you
all
had
talked
your
about
videos
it.
downloaded, so.
Yes, I
Plus,
did have my
you forgot.
videos.
That was smart.
We are downloaded. So,
Do you want me to work on that?
could you, Candy, thank you so much. So, the next slide, actually. So, that was, we're off and running, right? So, we have these kids, they set everything up, they're working, they're teaching in classes, they're teaching Google Classroom at the time. I always forget to remind people, like, Google Classroom didn't exist, it was brand new. So, teachers were like, we have Google Classroom, and the Tiger Tech started going in to teach teachers how to use Google Classroom, how to use G Suite, all the docs, drives, all those things are brand new. So this is, I'm like, woohoo, great. But this is just like some triage, right? We're just kind of starting out. We're just trying to figure some things out together. And then, actually, it's funny because I hear Brandon next door for 1660. So Brandon left work to the IU then, and I said, hey, I have these kids. We went one-to-one. Could we come to the IU and do a presentation, 10 and 10? Like it'll be like the students are going to pick their 10 and 10. So we did a 10 and 10. And then that kind of, thank you, that's perfect, thank you, I love you, thank you. And that springboarded us to, okay, wait a minute. These kids, this is their program, they're taking ownership over all pieces of technology in our building. And now I thought, well, the more I get them out in front of other people, the more comfortable and better they're going to be able to be better communicators. They're already starting to like really be great critical thinkers and problem solvers. So we start presenting at the Bucks County IU. Then through this program, the Verizon Digital Promise cohort said, well, this is kind of a model program. I think other schools are going to need this, when we go to our next round. So I took these kids, we went to a pre-ISTE conference, they sat in a room with like 200 educators, did a panel discussion, and then they went round table to table and sat, and we had like little forums. I'm like, basically, what were their victories as far as like technology and learning go, what were the challenges, what were their lessons learned. And that became our framework and our philosophy for Tiger Tech moving forward. So we wanted to kind of say, this was like a little bit of magic in a bottle, and how do we bottle it? How do we sustain it? How do we keep it going? And so then the next year I thought, well, I need some sustainability and some systems in place. And lo and behold, I needed some time and space with kids. And although I'm an instructional coach full-time, release, I need kids. And so we had to like map out, how do we present this random program to a curriculum board meeting? How do I say, I need an in-house IT department? And the beauty of it all is, and those videos that you saw are all kid generated and all kid made, because along with being in Tiger Tech, I was like, we need to document this experience. And I was so glad we did, because that was my portfolio. I could just show to the curriculum committee that like, you're right, I don't have a beautiful document written out. I can't tell you, I don't really have a standard at the time. I was like figuring out ISTE standards was new to me, all of that. But I knew that we had something that kids need to run it. And so we showed our portfolio body of evidence of the work we did, pictures, videos, interviews, testimonials from teachers, and lo and behold, we got a Tiger Tech class. It did take some time to figure out, how large should this class be, how many times should this class meet, but again, I'm the instructional coach, so I have to run like data meetings and all kinds of things, and we trial and error, like Matt Miller said, you kind of have to take a risk, you have to be willing to fail. So the first year in here I had like 4, that was way too much. I narrowed it down to 2 sections of about 15 kids each, and so that is how we kind of, but it has to work for you in your school. So I thought, woohoo, I have a class, I know we're going to have time together. I'm not going to stay after school every day. I'm not going to come in early. We're not going to like lose our lunch. This is great. And then of course, just like here, things don't work. And you're like, awesome. So, what happened was those initial tablets that these kids worked so hard on, we found the MDM and we did it all. They started to not work. They just started to break, so-called. We call them pink screen disease. And what was happening, we didn't know. All of a sudden, we have this $1 million grant, and our devices aren't working. So those, those people that my resistors, as they were like, I was like, oh, they're waiting for this day where, half the kids in class, I'm like, this is great, we're doing all this work, why are we doing this change? And like, change is important, we have all these talks, and then they're like, those devices don't work, and I'm not wasting my time. And suddenly, I literally had a science teacher meet me in the hallway, handed me like 30 tablets, he was like, get these out of my room. All right. So I'm like, all right, guys. The kids, I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, 9 times out of 10, it is a user error. But I'm like, this is not us. This is not us. So kids, again, peeling it off, and I said, I'll take a risk. Like, can we open these bad boys up and can we look at them? I'm like, yeah, why not? I don't care. What are we going to do? Get in trouble? Might as well. Let's see. So as they lifted the screens off, they found the problem. These 8th grade kids problem solved and found the technical issue. Some random electrical tape that was sitting on would get overheat and would lose its adhesiveness. And when it would lose its adhesiveness, it would slide. Then the screen would turn pink and then go black. So they were like, this tape is let me retape it. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know what you're doing. I don't even know what that's called, but keep it going. Okay. So they did it, and they figured it out. And we had to then say to Verizon, I was like, I don't know how we tell a grant that gave us a lot of money if, that their stuff isn't working. And the grant was not device specific, it really was about learning. So I said, let's call them in. And Tiger Tech sat in a circle, brought in some of the foundation members, and they showed their documentation, presented their evidence, and they were like, okay, you're right, this is next year we're just gonna replace with your 600 iPads. So that was really them problem solving and really getting into the authentic world experience of like, if you have a problem, you have to self-advocate, you have to show your evidence, you have to communicate it out in a real way. That was a real audience, and it was such an authentic learning experience that I realized that's the bread and butter of a student tech team. It's great to have someone in-house IT department that triages the problems, thank God for that, because I would die on my own. But really, I need to invest in them, and I got to level this up. This isn't about just tech, as I said, it's about learning, it's about student empowerment, it's about changing culture in our school. So we wanted to level it up and invest in our team, and I really then start to take on more of a STEM focus. So then, the next year, we start planning some trips to Apple, and we really kind of built our philosophy on Apple's philosophy, the leading with empathy, like you serve with empathy. And so we found when we were having issues with technical problems, or any teacher that had a problem, no matter how big, now how small, we knew, and as an instructional coach, you pull into, like, you meet people where they are, you validate how they feel, and then you help problem solve, but you also need to instill capacity. We need to build teacher capacity, we need to build student capacity to move forward and really shift our school. So we started doing that, and then I thought, well, I'm a reading specialist, I'm a special ed teacher, let me get some real scientists in here. So we started talking and asking for volunteers, and we were able to get a lot of volunteers from Verizon and different companies to come in, and we started leading Engineers Week. So then we started having engineers come in, partner with Tiger Tech, they do a lesson in classes, and we blow up our schedule. And then we start doing some fun, cool, like saltwater, like robot experiments with real scientists, individuals, and industry leaders. We started competing in the computer science fair. We never did that in my school. We just didn't. So we decided, well, look, why don't we try out for the computer science fair in Bucks County? And my kids won. Like, they each won a medal. Those are all different groups. It was awesome. Teachers are doing lessons, and they said, I really could use an extra pair of hands. I'm a little nervous about using Nearpod. I've never done it. Okay, Tiger Tech's assigned to that room. Tiger Tech will lead it off. Hour of code. So then we're like, hey, we're doing coding. We're going to blow up our schedule and do an event, and it's hour of code, and don't worry, teachers, you don't have to do a darn thing. We got it. So the Tiger Techs, we design our lessons, they go in, they lead the class. And so teachers really then shift this role of like not just being the sage on stage, they start to drop down, and they become partners, and it really just transforms the relationships that we have in our building with our staff and students. We start doing a lot more STEM challenges. We start doing some. We have a Peace Center come in, and our boys never really had anything. It was like more of a girls group. So I thought, well, this should be our boys' week to explore and tinker. So it became like boys tinker time. So we had the Tiger Techs lead lessons on little bits and just tinkering and interacting. I wanted to throw I didn't want us just to be a triage unit all the time. So we started throwing some other like STEM challenges, like upcycle an encyclopedia for Thanksgiving. So they made, that's a turkey. So they would make like turkeys out of upcycled books and started doing things like that. Again, we just wanted to level it up and kind of push ourselves So this video also I did download. It's gonna lag now. I'm used to the lag. I'm ready for that. And hopefully I can get back to the presentation after I share it. But we then also wanted to show our school board in particular. They took a risk, and here I am putting kids in front of everything. So I thought, well, let's apply to present the School Board Association Convention in Hershey, and they picked us. We're like, yay! So we sent our kids, and our kids made this video as well about leading and what it means to lead in their schools. Okay, I'm sure I pulled it up correctly. So I'm going to let Emma and Josh, who actually are much more articulate than I am, tell the story. If it plays properly, please.
Hi, we're here at PSBA, and the Armstrong Tiger Techs are here representing Bristol Township School District, and we're so proud for them to be here.
Today we're at Pennsylvania School Board Association, and we have a booth set up and talking about what Tiger Tech does. So I have this QR code app right here, and we pretty much have QR codes like around our booth, and we just show people what we do. Like we have videos of the iPad setup.
Recently, we did the rollout for the iPads for the 2016 to 2017 school year, and we took a video documenting the process of it. Let me just turn the sound up.
Yep. We're actually helping real problems and assisting them in learning things. That is really cool. Thank you. Did you like doing it? You think you might want a career working with IT? Maybe. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. So glad you're here. Enjoy your day. Take care.
The Tiger Techs are a student-driven organization within Bristol Township School District that sees the process from distribution to implementation and technical support for teachers as well as students.
And so our main goal in Tiger Tech is to not only help students with any problems they may have with their tablets, but also to help better their knowledge of technology, not only in the classroom setting, but in a general setting. So along with the educational apps we have on there, we have Google Classroom, Google Slides, Docs, Sheets. We also have apps like iMovie and GarageBand on there, so it teaches students that they can use it for purposes outside of school.
We make all these videos, all these QR codes have videos of what we've done or pictures.
For example, on Friday, the Tiger Techs took a trip to the Schulmerich Bell Factory in Hatfield, PA. And what we did there, in a break from tradition of normal field trips, we documented the entire field trip through pictures, through videos, through notes. And what we're doing now is we're compiling all of those documents into one big movie, basically. So instead of the field trip just being a memory, it's more or less a preservation of the field trip.
Got this grant from Verizon and Digital Promise. They granted us with these types of tablets before. They're Galaxies.
Right.
And this one was like a test tablet, but the like mobile agent that we use, it wouldn't work on these tablets.
So, like when you started, you kind of knew all the computer stuff, or you
Not really. You had to learn as you go.
Okay. So it was like classes that you learn it too.
Yeah, I'm not in the school anymore. I'm a freshman in high school.
Right.
I help out. I come back and I help out.
You help out everybody just get started.
Yeah, but our class, like our Tiger Tech class, we built the foundation of what Tiger Tech is today,
Right.
and now they're just adding on.
So if a teacher or a student has a problem on their iPad, they can fill out a form and go to the classroom and help fix it. Mostly teachers have problems with their iPad, so it's a great thing you guys are doing. And look at that.
I'm Lisa. I'm the second grade social studies teacher.
We took a virtual field trip with a group of people from Hawaii, and we went whale watching with them all through the tablets. So there's a lot you can do with the tablets, and sometimes the students and the teachers need help with the tablets, and that's why we're there. We help them with the iPads, but we also show them how to bring it into the classroom and maybe even outside the classroom.
And the favorite part about today is like kind of just going around and seeing what other people have set up. It was also fun answering the questions people asked us. It was kind of a challenge, but it was pretty fun.
share the story of the genesis of it because I think it's just important to see like a catalyst of what this small change can do. And again, just more pictures of kids presenting to math museums. We started also then recognizing we needed some community partners. So we moved beyond just Digital Compass and Verizon, and we wrote a grant. We have a Maker Lab, and we partnered with Maker Ed. And Estee Lauder actually is a company that has a factory near my school. Their research and development program, I'm not sure where their main corporate office is, but they have a factory near us. So we reached out to them and thought, could they could we connect with them and learn a little bit about the manufacturing side of Estee Lauder as well as the chemistry side. And I don't know if you noticed a lot in my pictures, a lot of girls apply to be in Tiger Tech. I'm very happy about that. So I really try to find a lot of ways to have girls connect with industry leaders, and so they can see themselves on like the chemistry side and different pieces for our STEM, for our girls to be represented. New Age Industries is not far from us either. We connected with them, and they do all kinds of different packaging things, and our students were able to go there toward the factory, kind of learn again more about manufacturing. Dow Chemical. They also have a factory near our school, but their research and development is out maybe like an hour from us. And they we have partnered with them, and they come in to our science classes, and they'll do experiments and talk about different kinds of rubbers and varnishes. It's really cool stuff. It's really, again, bringing like the science and technology to life for our kids, and giving them the opportunity to have those connections to real world relevance. So we've really kind of made it a priority to extend out and to leverage our Tiger Tech teams to connect with other community partners. And so then we also wanted to make sure we're not just doing this for this select group of kids. So we have school-wide events. Allen Myers Construction is a really amazing construction company out by us. I don't know if they're out this way as well. I know they're in Virginia, but they have a 15-foot trailer, and they have an augmented reality simulator. So we kind of started partnering up again, trying to get that STEM mindset in all our classes, and partnering up with them. It was just a simple reaching out. They brought their trailer. Kids were able to do ride these excavators in this augmented reality simulator and learn about the construction side and the civil engineering side of the construction business. And as we know, the STEM workforce, they're really looking for technically skilled workers, and we see this big gap. And when I'm talking to those industry leaders, I keep telling them, I think the sweet spot really is middle school. Really kind of catch them while they're trying to figure themselves out. And I can't tell you again how many girls, they loved this. They thought this was awesome. And then they didn't realize that environmental science partners up with construction, and they were like, oh, wait a minute. And they it just blew their mind. It just really kind of opened up and gave them these real world experiences to really think about STEM in a meaningful way. And again, we've opened up to make more STEM. We do a STEM and Maker Night there. Again, teachers don't have to do one extra thing. It is all kid-led. The students pick a teacher as their partner. I always tell teachers, you're just eye candy to look nice and smile and have people come chat with your booth. But they run, there's making Makeys. They're made of pedestation, the dash and dots. You had to code your dash through your school schedule and go to the cafeteria, to the auditorium, and find your way. But students led it. We did painting of Spiros. We wanted to do some cool mural pieces, so we let them lead the way and do that as well. So again, this whole piece is, how do you do it, right? I gave you this whole long story of why it's important, and I feel like if you're not grounded in the why, then sometimes this stuff gets lost, and it's just really the part that people are like, oh, just give me the form, how do you start it? And you really have to believe in your why, and my why is that kids matter, and when they own the school flourishes, and teachers are happy if the environment is changed and the culture is better. So we started just, like I said in the beginning, it was 30 kids. We have a Tiger Tech application. It's a Google form. They fill it out. You get a teacher recommendation. And last year I had 120 Tiger Tech applications. We had 250 kids in the 7th grade, and half of them pretty much applied. The teacher letter of recommendation, I've started this, as I said. It was a diverse group of kids. You don't have to be the most academic kid, but you have to learn to lead with empathy. You have to learn to be independent and really seek out wanting to communicate with others, problem solve, critically think, and share. And then we offer a little training in the summer. We ask the kids if they want to come in the summer, and an alumni Tiger Tech comes in and show them some things. We do have a work order system, just like we needed a workflow system. So as I said, we do a lot of triage, but that we wanted to level up in some other things. But the triage system keeps our technology running, keeps our teachers happy and our students happy. So we have just a simple Google form. I pull up the spreadsheet. We pull out who wants to work on chargers, who wants to collect some cracked screens, who wants to solve an app problem. We use a few amplifies our science program, so sometimes we have some weird wonky things that happen, and the kids are like, oh, they get to pick what they want to work with. They go, I give them the schedule, they go out, they find the students, they fix it. It's a matter of like 3 minutes, 5 minutes out of the other kid's class, and it's done there on the spot. And this just keeps us going, so we don't have people except for lagging and being without devices or stuck in something, an update or etc., password issues, you name it. That's what comes through this form. I love that my students actually, again, because I'm an instructional coach, not just the device management person, we don't have a large IT department, so they do the insurance claims. Year before, they created a Flipgrid for cracked screens, so they really became like a little mini CSI unit where they were investigating like if they really believe the kid dropped it down the stairs or what happened. So just some systems in place we put in. Our Tiger Tech program, the impact it has had on our school and on our community has been pretty amazing in my opinion. We really have shifted these students as school leaders. It's been a catalyst for change, and it's really been meaningful work. It has real world relevance to them. These are real skills that they're leaving with. And the communication, the critical thinking, the creativity pieces, and it's shifted the culture. And since we started focusing more on STEM, we've been able to really kind of embrace that as a whole in our school and not just see a STEM as something that's done in a maker lab or something that's done in one area, but kind of look at it from the framework of how do we integrate this into all of our classrooms. And for our school, when the students are leading it, it's a lot different than if I'm leading it. They're really more receptive, believe it or not, to when kids are sharing their ideas and they're open to it. This video was made for us. This is not one our kids made, but it basically just shows the impact of our students and the change they've made. They made our maker lab as well. This one is not downloaded, so I'm not sure if I should play it. All right. This one will work.
Being in Tiger Tech definitely made me a bit more comfortable with who I am.
I'm very proud to be one of the lucky 24 kids being at Tiger Tech.
We are located right outside of Levittown. It's a large community, yet it's a small feel to the town itself. The community around Armstrong Middle School is traditionally a blue-collar, family-oriented town. A lot of the industry is gone and hasn't been replaced. Kids absolutely knew that their school is behind the times.
Not having access definitely puts limitations on students, and it prevents them from reaching their potential.
Our Tiger Tech program started quite organically with me asking for kids to help volunteer unpack boxes. We kind of decided that who better to find out all the kinks and work out the kinks than a group of kids who we trust. Little did they know they would become our in-house IT department that would run the school. You don't have to be the most academic student, but you do need to know how to be empathetic and kind.
We help teachers and students around the school if they have any technology problem.
Now your passcode is going to be your student ID number.
It was actually really cool for me to help someone. It was empowering.
I think the teachers do appreciate that we help them out and that we're able to be there when they need us.
Today we were working with the current Tiger Techs to help them develop a maker space.
We're very fortunate Verizon founded a maker lab, and our Tiger Techs are charged with designing and building it. When you walk into your learning environment, when you see that you have the same opportunities in your hands physically as other schools, you feel like you're in the game, you feel like you can compete.
Since now that we have a lot more technology, it helps so much with my grades, because I used to just get like okay grades, but now I'm in A's and B's.
My favorite part was having a type of family relationship with a group of kids around my age.
I've known me beforehand. I was a lot more shy and quiet. After Tiger Tag, I was able to like open up a little more because like they are like a family.
All 24 of them, they're all my friends. When I was in elementary, I always wanted to be a baseball player, but now that I'm a Tiger Tech, I want to be an engineer or a scientist.
I wanted to be a computer software designer.
I'm going to be a video game designer.
I think anything's possible for them. They're going to change the world we live in.
1, 2, 3, Tiger Tech!
I've been very fortunate in being able to have like creative freedom to make something, but when I see a video like that, I know that it mattered. Those kids have gone on to high school. This young lady here, Chelsea, the Tiger Tech, she actually didn't apply, and she asked if she could apply late. She didn't think she was good at math, and she thought that Tiger Tech were just for the smart kids that were good at science and technology and math. And turns out she ended up, they made a commercial out Closing Digital Divide, and she was in it. And then they asked her to speak at New York City, the Global Citizen Festival. And she's with Hugh Jackman. I would love to be next to Hugh Jackman. Her mom was like, she's next to Hugh Jackman, Miss Ortese. And she spoke to a crowd. I was nervous talking to like 20 people. She was out there talking to thousands of people. So this is a girl who wasn't good at math, who wasn't a strong student, who didn't feel confident. And at the end of the day, like that's what we want our kids. We want them to be confident in who they are. We want them to leave the skills beyond what anything, you know, that will take them into real life. And to see Chelsea up there speaking to a crowd that size was really just amazing. And again, it's a long story, but it's just really important to know your why. And this is to me, is the why, where we end up. You recognize those people from the very beginning when they're little 8th graders. To bring it full circle, I do our opening day for our district, and once again, their senior year, I called on them. I said, I've been putting you in front of adults since you were in 8th grade. I need you to do it one more time. And they spoke in front of all of our staff in our entire district, talking about what Bristol Township education meant to them. What were the things that made a difference in their education? What made a difference in their lives? So, and there's Marcelino, original Tiger Tech, freshman year at Drexel, studying physics. Brandon is a freshman at Cornell. We've never had an Ivy League at Cornell. Studying biomedical engineering, I think. Grace is at Drexel studying medicine, and Kira there is at Penn State. So it was very amazing to me to see this long range, and I see these kids and they go off to college, and to see that they really did pursue these STEM fields, and I'm very grateful to them for helping me through my transition and my transformation. And they always come back and say, you know what, that was the best. I loved middle school. I loved feeling important in my school. I loved having this power, this freedom. I felt like I could do anything because you gave us the reins to do everything and anything. So it really is, if we want that student buy-in, we need to start with student ownership. And I feel like we've been really lucky, and I've been very fortunate to have support of our administrators, and kids don't let me down, so they pull through given the chance. So there you have it. So thank you again for coming in here and hearing the story. And if you have any questions and how to set it up, or any logistical questions, we also are our kids love to come out and talk to other kids and help set up teams. We've helped with some teams in Tennessee, in Atlanta, and talked to them. We virtually talked about how do you set it up, and they really, what I love the most, they really instill in those kids how important it is to be a good STEM ambassador, how to be a good digital citizen, and all those pieces that you just want kids to say, and they say it because they believe it. So thank you. Yes.
You're just doing middle school? Then do you have something similar in high school that someone else?
So I support the middle school. We have an instructional coach now at the high school who our kids has kind of been our, like the black hole up there of because all of a sudden in middle school they're like, woo, and then they're like, Ms. Ortese, can we come back and train kids because we don't have this, we don't have this. So my high school is now going one-to-one.
Okay, we're the opposite. We have high school, but our middle school is the black hole.
So
how many kids and devices are you managing in the middle school?
So we have 891 iPads. I have about 120 Chromebooks that we use, and then we have a homemaker lab of Dash robotics. We have a 3D printer. We have a vinyl cutter. We have the little bits. We have all those pieces in the lab, and I oversee all the lab, which really the kids oversee the lab. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to out total true transparency. I didn't even add a 3D printer because I was like, that is way above my league right now. And a kid, a Tiger Tech this year, was like, I'm really into 3D printing, and he's really shy. So when it came in, I ordered it. He unboxed it. He ordered it. He's done it. I haven't touched it, but he's making all kinds of stuff.
Cool. Last question, I'm leading up to. What's the volume of work your kids are getting? I'm doing help
Yeah.
desk work, and
and that's my
I'm
concern.
getting tons of work.
Yeah.
How do you find the time for them to get out of classes? I see my academic teachers mining it. Like, how do you find the time during the day for them to help you?
So this became a class. So what happened was on the application, they fill it out and they choose. So our schedule, actually we want to blow up our schedule. We have a very rigid 8-period schedule. So we had to give something. So the kids, and that was something I said, you know, once we became a scheduled time. So I have them 2 periods a day. And again, this year it's like 15 and 15 kids. And he said, well, we only have so many specials. You know, if you choose Tiger Tech, it's a year-long elective special. So if you're willing to give that up, and I'm very clear, like, I get it, you don't want to give it up. And like I said, I still had 120 kids who were like, I'm in. Like, I'll give it up. I want to be here.
Do they give up their other specials to be part of this?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
So
like
they don't
give up their art class,
yes.
their music class,
Yes.
their gym class?
Well, they still have music and phys ed. They give up. We have like another 4 rotation. It's an art. It's health, pro-social. They give up, and there is a makers and innovators. So since I'm already overseeing the lab and there's a robotics class, but since I already do, I do that, so they kind of don't have to, they give it up as in that class, but they're getting it in Tiger Tech anyway, if that makes sense. So it's like a 4, they go through like each marking period, they go to the makers and innovators, but they stay at their routine all year.
We do it as a class, a help desk,
Yeah.
a student help desk class. Basically.
Yeah, and
it's just one of their lessons.
right, and this is
But
like,
what kind of, I'm just curious, kind of volume of repair calls?
Okay, so
800 devices, 2,000
so
devices, you'd be busy a lot.
So today I sent them a message and I shared the spreadsheet and I was like, so it looks like, I don't know what's going on in 6th grade, but everyone's throwing their iPad down the steps. I don't know. There was like 7 broken
They do
devices.
that.
Yeah, like 7 broken screens. I had like 10 kids like, my charger's not working, I lost my cord. You know, there's all kinds of random stuff half the time. So that's really, we probably have about, like I said, we do a lot of triage, but I just feel like I don't want that to be their only role in the school because we'll get like 20, 30 work orders. It'll probably be average about 10 and 15 a day. And it's just bringing them, it's like, I forgot my password, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, fill out the form. Like, you do not come to me.
But that's
fill
what
out
we're
the
hitting,
form.
is that we're so busy triaging, because we do repairs too.
Yeah.
I have the kids do, we do some basic stuff, screens and
Okay.
things like
We
that.
don't do screens, we send them out to
Yeah, so
insurance.
we do that, because a lot of stuff's already out of warranty. So,
Yeah.
but that's like all we're having time to do, because the volume is so,
Well, and to be fair,
so much.
we were having that, and that's when I started saying, like, we just infuse it with STEM challenges. I'm like, hey, we're doing, today's our STEM challenge, we did like some upcycling materials of like old junk, and we made like a steampunk entomology project, and I'm like, we need to focus on being creative too, we can't just constantly do the workhorses, and I think you need that balance, I need that balance. So we try to infuse that, and a lot of times, if it's a repair, if it's just going after the class, we're very fortunate. The teachers, it's like a 5-minute fix typically, like, I lost my cord, you see it in the spreadsheet, it goes out, and it goes in Miss Feely's room, hey, try so-and-so over the court, and you know how to go in really politely, and teachers always tell me, they're like stealth, they just come in politely, they come out, like, they're really good about it.
So do you have extra cords and things like that? But like, what if they really do lose their card and you can't find it? Like, what do you, like,
So I
do you
have
extra materials?
So if they lose, because the iPad chargers are very expensive, they lose their block, they fill it out, you charge them typically, but a lot of times, you know, we find a way. But usually if something doesn't, their cord's broken, like I don't charge them for a broken cord, they just have to hand it in to us. So that's what the Tiger Tech's like, I'll take your broken one, I'll give you a new one, and then we test it out. And half the time, like, they're just gonna push it in on the way.
So that's part of the covering of your grant that covers.
No, so that our grant has ended about 3 years ago, and then we wrote an extension grant. So that's all now built into our sustainability piece. So the districts had to commit to that, to providing K pacing cases, et cetera, et cetera. So that's that. But again, had we not had a tech team of students to support this, would have died, I think, in the first year. So it showed that like this program has longevity in the sense that like you can't possibly one IT director and we have three other technicians, and you can't have that and they don't live in our school. I mean, they're busy doing other things, and so I'm like, we support our IT department. So we become best friends for the IT department because it's needed. And again, manpower is the biggest commodity in teaching, right? Personnel is the number one cost factor. So having students using real world experience helps us all, helps everybody.
What Chromebooks are you using?
Our Chromebooks are they're a little outdated. They're just Google.
How are they holding up?
The keys pop off, stuff like that. Yeah, we don't fix that though. The kids don't fix that. That's
I know our Chromebooks.
So what kind of things do they work on?
So all the apps, so a lot of times we have like amplified science programs, so a lot of times it'll be like something with the amplified converting, teachers want to use something, rewrite theory and a bunch of different apps that they use. If there's anything that's not working well, the kids will kind of they put in a work order because they say, oh, I can't connect to Amplify at home, I submitted my assignment, it's not working. Usually the kids will come in and they'll look around, well, want to do an update. They know that they have like a set thing to check on. You didn't update your iPad, that's why you're getting kicked off the network. Your password you didn't update your password. They just help them in that regard. A lot of times, also teaching teachers, like we have a lot of, we have merge cubes, so that's been our thing this year. Like we want merge cubes, we want to teach teachers how to use CoSpaces and dig, and I'm one person, so I can't quite learn all that. So I ask the kids, who wants to work with merge cubes? Who wants to research the apps and talk to Ms. Volpe about how she can build these augmented reality?
So you kind of have subgroups within that team that kind of specialize in areas?
Yes, and like we have a group of kids, like said one kid, they want to learn the 3D printer. I'm like, awesome, that's your job. I have a group of kids that use the vinyl cutter, it's like $3,000. I'm like, that's only you 5 can touch that, no adults can touch it. That's your job. And then it's just what they choose, what they like. A lot of the times, like I said, we have the dashes, the little bits, we have spheros, all those pieces. A lot of times I'll have kids who they're assigned like that's your STEM. It's in our application, like they get to pick like what are your top 3 things you're interested in, you would be the STEM ambassador of. And then when we meet, we just kind of divvy it up. And so if a teacher wants to use spheros in their classroom, then I'm like, hey, Jada, help me out with a good lesson. Let's like talk to Ms. Ross and see what she wants to use. We also, and I forgot to say this, we also, special ed teachers. So we created tech buddies this year with our life skills kids because I felt like our life skills kids aren't always really included. I mean, they may be in the same physical space, but it's a lot different than being included. So we became tech buddies, and that has been awesome because life skills kids and them are working on all kinds of cool, like they're making up different things with like this dashes and dash, and then I can share that too. So that's what they can do in our classes to differentiate different things. So that's good.
Was there any pushback from the administration about fear of students working on certain things or having access to things?
Especially middle school.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. No, because when you're drowning, you're just gonna take that just throw me the life preserver. I'm good. And my principal, I'm very fortunate. I've known him a long time. He was also a special education teacher, and he trusted me, and I trusted the kids. And it really, if anything, those kids are the ones who are like, hey, so-and-so's got FaceTime. Like, hey, so-and-so said reset their iPad, put on their own Apple ID. Like, they're just the ones that, like, they'll just tell me what's going on. If anyone else is doing it, they're the first to tell me. They think minded defense of how I can figure out the other stuff that's going on that I don't know. A bunch of TikTok videos the other week. I'm like, oh, okay. They let me know. So I've been really lucky with that. Like,
now that you've got the program up and running, what's your biggest obstacle now? You have it like in place.
Time. And because we keep layering it up, right? Like I was in a session with like how to move like technology tools to toys, and I was just saying to Kendi about we're adding in, we're writing some computational thinking curriculum, we're adding some computer science, and like leveling it up, and it's a lot. And I feel like sometimes that's been my philosophy. I don't want to dump things on teachers, and I want kids to vet this stuff because if I might think it's cool, and the kids are like, you this is like the worst. This is so dumb. Why are you doing this? It doesn't mean anything. It's not impactful for their learning. Then I'm like, oh well, I don't know. I won't do that. Like that's been the challenge. Like keeping up with all the increasing pieces of the STEM, with the technology in the makerspace, and and making sure it's being vetted through it's meaningful and useful. It's just not dumped on someone just to do just for the sake of doing. So that's been a challenge. But again, that's where the kids have been huge. I can send them an email this week. Can you check out Code Space?